Hey guys, it's time for me to review Baddies USA episode 1, so let's get right into it. So of course they started with the 3 minutes of unnecessary recapping Baddies Africa that we didn't need to see because Baddies Africa was 2 weeks ago. Then they do kind of the BGC style intro where they cut to the biggest fight of the season and it cuts to Summer and Lex. Now we already saw some of this from the trailer. We know Lex did Summer in, Summer was leaking, but what we didn't know is that Lex is going to go in for a second round, and they didn't show us that. They just showed her running up to the second round and then it cut off. So we still got something to look forward to that we haven't seen from this night. Now, my quick opinions on this, because obviously we don't know the full story. I see a lot of people saying, oh, Lex beat Summer really bad. This is the worst beating that she's given anybody on Zeus, this, that, and the third. And people low-key feeling bad for Summer because they saying if it's just about what Summer said about Lex eating her cat, then it wasn't that serious. But are y'all forgetting that Summer also got Lex attacked by her sister when they went to Detroit? Summer's getting exactly what she deserved. You had somebody run up on me and sneak me. So yeah, I'm definitely about to whoop your ass. Nobody else on this show did anything like that to Lex, which would make her mad enough to do them like that. Nobody else set her up to get jumped or beat up or attacked. I will also say I really like the intro. It's still giving Cap Cut. I do still wish we had live intros where the girls were walking around and stuff. But I did love that they used Doing What I Want as the theme song. And I like that all of the girls are representing one of the USA colors, red, white, or blue. Some of the girls have on silver to represent white. But I like that they don't all look exactly the same, but they do have some type of color coordination. So then we see Natalie coming in, and it basically puts a message across the screen, and it says, Natalie Nunn assembles select Bad Girls Club OGs for a high-level briefing to present the upcoming Baddies USA cast. So basically, Natalie's supposed to be sitting down with the BGC OGs to go over the new cast. We know she always goes over the new cast with someone. And I did like the way they put that message across the screen. It was like, okay, y'all keeping up with this whole USA presidential theme. So that was cool. So the BGC girls that we have joining us are Janelle, Seven, Bree, Persuasion, Low London, Kat, Camilla, Judy, Sarah, and Jayla. So as the girls are walking in, Natalie's already taking her shoes off and she's basically saying she don't want to fight nobody, but she's just making sure she's prepared because she's been snuck left and right. And then she was basically telling the girls, I don't want no hugs. Y'all just need to come sit down and we need to just get it over with. It felt like Natalie didn't really want to be there with them and she just wanted to get it out the way. Like she was kind of giving us the BGC reunion because it's an all-star season and that's what the fans want. But I don't think it's what she really wanted to do. And I feel like she took her shoes off and was telling them like, come on and just sit down because she didn't want to get swung on. She feel like she's been snuck recently and she has, by DTB. And she's also been not snuck, but she's been beat up by people like Ahna. And I think she also fears the possibility of all of the girls turning on her and jumping her and Zeus letting it happen. So was she being a little snappy? Kind of, sort of. But did I see where she was coming from? A little bit. And then Camilla fake as hell because she be the main one talking shit online. Not only about Natalie, but about everybody else. Like she talked about Seven, Kid, and all of that. But she come in, playing with Natalie, trying to hug Natalie. She sat pretty close to Seven. Didn't say nothing to Seven. Like, girl, you need to stand on business, Camilla. Because you be popping it on that internet. So when they came in, Persuasion was not feeling how Natalie was talking to them. She said she didn't like Natalie's delivery, and she felt like Natalie was basically saying, F y'all. Like I said, it seemed like Natalie didn't really want to deal with them. So Natalie and Persuasion start going back and forth, and Persuasion was basically saying, yeah, stuff be weird with you and these new baddies, but stuff don't be weird with us, so why are you treating us like you treat the baddies? You've been snuck by people like DTB and Ahna. That's not us. That's not the Bad Girls Club OGs. That's not even what we built on, basically. And then Natalie kept telling Persuasion to relax. And Persuasion was like, no, I'm not going to relax. And Natalie was like, oh, well, do you want to leave? But then she turned to Bree because Bree had stood up. And she was like, oh, yeah, you who I'm talking about because I heard you want to fight. So basically, she was correcting what Persuasion was saying. Like, yeah, no, it's not only the baddies who be trying to fight me. It's some of y'all, too. Like I said, Bree definitely been wanting her issue about baddie shot o'clock. But Camilla also been popping it online. Judy and Sarah be popping it online. So it's not like it's only the baddies who be acting like they got beef with Natalie or they would take it there with Natalie. It is some of y'all as well. Natalie was basically telling Bree she not going to fight her. Jayla stood up and she was like, come on, y'all. We better than this. We don't need to do this. Basically saying like BGC is not exactly what baddies is. Yes, there were fights, but there was also a level of sisterhood and an ability to talk out your issues. So I think Jayla wants to get back to that. Like everything don't got to immediately be let's run a fade. From there, we see Tanisha pulling up. She says she ran a little late in traffic, but she's here. We definitely excited to see Tanisha. She's the HBIC and the godmother of BGC, a role that Natalie really wishes she had. And she tried to use baddies to slide into that role, but Natalie's such a fake ass bitch. She could never fill Tanisha's shoes. So before Tanisha gets into the room and takes everybody's attention, Natalie's trying to tell Bree, oh, you didn't make Baddie shot o'clock. I have the video. And Persuasion is like, yes, she did. Like, we all was on Baddie South together. She made that up. And it was captured on the show. Like, I'm about to insert the clip. You could literally see they were saying shot, shot, shots. And then Bree started saying Baddie shot o'clock. Krishan and everybody turned around and started saying it with her and got so excited because it sounded better than shot, shot, shots. Like, come on. So when Tanisha walks in, like I said, everybody's super excited to see her. The girls are getting up and hugging her, and Natalie immediately makes this ugly face, gets annoyed, and says, oh, you guys don't listen. You guys don't listen. You know, I guess talking to production, Lemmy and shit. And she walks out. And it literally just gave Natalie being mad that the girls embraced Tanisha more than her. Tanisha gets more attention than her when it comes to the other bad girls. Like, everybody's excited to see Tanisha. Nobody cares to see Natalie. People probably actually dread seeing Natalie. So Camilla, looking for camera time, she goes behind Natalie and she gonna tell the production, come on, let me talk to her. This is my real sister. I'm not here to F with her. Yeah, this your real sister that you be popping it about online all the time. And Natalie basically explained to Camilla that she only agreed to film with Tanisha last minute. So I guess Tanisha was supposed to come in for the last minute of this scene only. Natalie didn't want Tanisha to have too much camera time because she said Tanisha be doing too much with her theatrics. Like I said, it seemed like Natalie's jealous of Tanisha, like she's always been. And she didn't want Tanisha to steal her spotlight. But even with the few minutes that Tanisha was on screen this episode, she did steal your spotlight. And she forced you to leave your own set. And Camilla told Natalie, like, you know, I hope you know nobody's trying to jump you. We not trying to set you up or do nothing. Natalie gonna say, oh, trust me, I know that. You really don't know that, bitch. That's why you wanted everybody to come and sit down and you didn't want to give no hugs. And you took your shoes off because you thought you was going to get hit by somebody. So Janelle, Kat, Low London, and Jayla tried to go check on Natalie, but Natalie ended up leaving. So they get back into the room, and Sarah and the rest of the girls are shocked that Natalie left. They like how she got ran off her own set and she's supposed to be the CEO of Baddies. From there, Bree and Low London start getting into it. Now, I will say it seemed like it came out of nowhere, and it seemed like a lot of the scene was edited out or cut out. So I'm not really sure what happened, but I was on Bree's side with it because Low London did end up saying later on, like, oh yeah, I was on that with Bree because she was on that with Natalie, and Natalie's my bitch. So if anybody on that with Natalie, I'm gonna defend Natalie. Like, she on some Chinyan shit at the end of the day. So I'm not fucking with Low London. But I really wasn't clear on where the issue started. Like, Low London really just started going off, calling Bree an escort, saying she's trailer trash, all this stuff. Eventually, Low London sat down. Persuasion asked her, what was all of this about? Like, why are you and Bree getting into it? Like I said, Low London basically said she was standing up behind Natalie. So that right there, I'm on Bree's side because you a Chinyan. And Persuasion said what I'm thinking in her confessional. Like, Low London, you really way too far up Natalie's ass right now. Bree ends up getting up, walking up on Low London, and she's like, listen, I want to fight you. I'm done going back and forth. At first, Low London was acting like she was going to use her heel as a weapon against Bree, but they ended up getting a fair round. It was quick. Low London ended up on the couch, and she would have got tore if it would have continued, in my opinion. You know, Bree didn't do her biggest one, but she did her little big one. You know, she clearly did enough that Kat felt like she needed to pull Bree's hair and throw her wig, talking about she defending Low London and that's her girl. Persuasion was like, Kat, we not doing this. We supposed to be BGC sisters. Like, why you jumping in? And Bree was like, yeah, Kat be in my face acting like we cool, but now she want to fight me over Low London. I felt like that was super weak of Kat, but I'm glad that Bree didn't get jumped like we thought she got jumped before seeing this. From there, Bree walked out. Sarah went behind her, and Bree was basically saying, you know, she got jumped. She not fucking with it. And she also said that she felt like they was being racist by calling her trailer park trash and calling her a Karen. You know, I don't really feel like that's racist, but if she feels like that, that's on her. And then Persuasion was getting really emotional because she was basically saying, you know, she don't want to see the BGC girls fighting, and she don't really live her life like this no more. Like, she's not used to being around this kind of chaos and stuff no more. And I feel like a lot of the BGC girls feel that way, which is why it's kind of surprising that they came back. You know, I feel like everybody needs the money because Judy, Sarah, Persuasion, y'all all saying y'all changed y'all lives, y'all saved. Like, Sarah said she got saved. And, you know, y'all turned over a new leaf, and y'all was always saying this show was so trash and so less than Bad Girls Club. So for y'all to end up here again is very interesting. So that was the end of this scene. They never ended up going through the Baddies USA cast, but that's good because we didn't need to go over that again, honestly. We about to see all of their intros right now. So we cut to a scene with Biggie, Mariah, and Tinkerbella. Tinkerbella has this baby in her confessional, I guess to represent that she just had a baby, but I feel like you look stupid. You walking around with a baby doll when you really need to be home with your kid. Like, what is the point of you having a doll when you need to actually have your kid? But whatever. So when they first sat down, Tink was basically trying to act like she was mad at Biggie for not coming to her baby shower. Obviously, they moved right past that. And then they asked Biggie, like, who did she actually have beef with? And Tinkerbella was like, is it still something up with you and Ahna? And Biggie said, we haven't talked. It hurts, but, we're not cool right now. And right as they finish talking about that, Ahna and Tasiki pull up. Ahna and Biggie do end up talking out their issues. At the end of the day, I really didn't want to see a season of them beefing. I feel like we got enough of them, getting into it at that reunion when they got into it. But I wouldn't want to see them beefing and fighting and all of that. We've had enough friendships fall out on this show. But I do hope Biggie learned her lesson and that she don't do no shit like that again. Like, you need to have your friends back if she's getting jumped or it's a 2-on-1 tag team kind of situation. And Ahna also took some accountability about where she went wrong in the friendship, basically saying, Biggie went through a lot with losing her boyfriend. And Ahna feel like maybe she wasn't there for Biggie as much as she should have been or as much as Biggie needed her to be. So she apologized for that. Then I don't know if y'all remember from Flavor of Love when they used to have those flavorgrams when Flavor Flav didn't come to the house, but he wanted the ladies to know something. So they would get this note basically telling them like what they going to do for the day. Natalie basically had one of those. So I guess she said, I'm not coming to see Ahna. Fuck Ahna. But I'm going to give them this flavorgram and let them know where to meet us though. From there, it cuts to Summer and Lex. Lex is touching Summer's boobs because Summer was mentioning how she got her boobs done. So I'm like, Lex, that's strike one for you. I know a lot of friends would probably do that if their friend got their titties done. But with all the allegations surrounding y'all friendship and with us knowing what's coming, I can't help but point it out. And then from there, Suki and Dolly come to join them. I felt like Suki did not fit in with this group. I felt like she should have been with Sapphire and the Scotty group. But for whatever reason, they had her with this group. But I did enjoy it because she was clocking their tea right to their face. First things first, Suki was telling them to stick together. Don't let this show break up your friendship. Because obviously we saw that happen with her and Sapphire. And they had to repair their friendship outside of the show. But unfortunately, we know they didn't listen. And by the end of the season, the big three won't be a thing anymore. Then Dolly and Lex basically asked Summer how she felt about Tasiki and Krishan being casted. Summer basically said she don't give a fuck. She's standing on business. She said what she said. And she said it's not like she made it up. She's simply repeating what Krishan said. So if Tasiki cool with Krishan and she ain't fight Krishan, why she want to fight her? Now, girl, I get what you're saying, but that ain't gonna work because that's her sister and that's family business. If she don't fight her sister, that's one thing, but she's definitely gonna fight you because you had no business saying that. And at first, I thought Summer simply did this behind Dolly. Like, I thought Dolly and Tasiki fought, and then Summer just went on the internet wilding out. But apparently, Summer said there was a video of Tasiki looking at a video of Summer, and Summer was cursing around kids. And Tasiki kind of turned up her face, and she basically said, I made that face because I don't know why Summer was cursing around them kids. And Summer responded by saying, I don't know why you talking about what I'm doing around kids when your sister made the allegations that she made against you. So they both definitely was talking about each other online, but we know who gonna win that fight. So Summer just got to stand on what she said, and it sounds like she is. So, hey. So Summer says she's not going to apologize. If that's what Tasiki's looking for, she's not going to get it. Suki asked Summer if she's ready to fight Tasiki then, and she said it is what it is. I'm not ducking no smoke. And Suki was like, okay, so how do you feel like you're going to do in that situation? Basically saying like, girl, you're going to get your ass whipped. And Summer says she don't care. But I definitely agree with Suki. Summer just should have stayed out of the family business at the end of the day. She should have said something else about Tasiki instead of what she decided to say. So Suki told Summer she was wrong, and then Lex asked Dolly where her and Tasiki stand. Dolly said they don't got no issues. They talked out their beef before the season started. Dolly said that they talked it out through chaotic. And Dolly was like, me and Tasiki already did what we had to do. And Summer was like, yeah, you beat that ass at the reunion. And Dolly laughed. And Suki looked at Dolly and was like, girl, you did not beat her up. And Dolly was still trying to carry on with this whole she kept up. She still got all her 32, basically saying she ain't get her teeth knocked out like Diamond Child. Like, Dolly, please, you asleep. Anyway, next scene. We got Rolly, Scotty, Sapphire, Krishan, Tommy, and DJ Sky. Suki definitely would have fit better in this group, in my opinion. When Rolly and Scotty sat down, Rolly talking about she need to talk to Trump about a few things. Rolly, don't throw me off. So when they sat down, Sapphire asked Rolly and Tommy if they were good, and Rolly said, yeah, let's just say I ran into the bullets and move on. Sapphire was telling Krishan she was happy her and Tasiki have talked things out, and the Malone sisters are here, and they could finally do their season as a duo. Yeah, as we know, that's not gonna last long. Then Sapphire asked Tommy, do she got an issue with Tinka or is it done? Tommy talking about, I don't know that girl to have an issue with her. I don't got no problems with none of you girls, this, that, and the third. That's all cool that she really don't know Tinkerbella. Like, Tommy and Tinkerbella really don't know each other that well, as far as we know. But you popped her. So you have an issue. It's going to have to be addressed, just like you had to address it with Rolly. So then Scotty ends up telling the girl she's pregnant. Of course, everybody's very excited for her. Congratulations to Scotty. She says she's due April 15th, so she's like 4 months along at this point. And she just did her gender reveal, and we found out that she's having a girl. Now, Scotty says she wanted to tell this group of ladies because they were all mothers. And what really sent me was that Krishan was the person who decided to be the most vocal after that point, when she's the worst mother in the room. Let's not sugarcoat it. She has so much to say to Scotty and so much advice to give when it doesn't even look like you take care of your own child properly. Scotty also said that the pregnancy was not unplanned. You know, this was something that her and Lemmy were planning. They've been trying for a while, and she's been wanting to have a kid. Rolly was genuinely happy for Scotty. I love to see that. You know, they've done like 7 seasons straight together now, and they've both gone through their shit with Natalie while being like the top girls on the show right under Natalie. So I think they do have a special bond that they've developed over the seasons. So yeah, then Krishan went on her rant, you know, crying, doing all this talking about how Scotty's a real bitch and she's praying for Scotty and her baby and all this shit. It's just like, I don't want to hear it. Shut up. Shut up. As far as baby names, Scotty said for a boy, she's thinking about Cameron or Cashton. For a girl, she's thinking about Iceland. The girls were not happy with Cameron being the potential boy name. So Tommy says she hates somebody named Cameron. And from that point, we start to see all of the girls arriving to the final dinner. So this is the final scene where everybody's going to meet up. And we see Tavy, Fauna, Killa. Killa ate her confessional look up. Then we see Nunu, Gretch, and Smiley. So then we start to see Fauna putting on like a swim cap and then putting her bucket hat on top of it. She's getting ready for something. From there, Mariah and Tinkerbella walk in. Tinkerbella immediately tells Killa to get up. We know they have this beef over the song, and they've been going at it online on the internet. Last season, Tinka wasn't there. Killa was. She talked about it a lot, talked about Tinkerbella a lot. She even fought Diamond at the beginning of the season because Diamond was the feature on the song. And Diamond kept telling her, like, I'm just a feature. You need to handle this issue with the lead artist who you claim stole your song, which is Tinkerbella. So here we are. Now, I've never felt like Tink was the best fighter, but she definitely uses her weight. So I did expect her to win the fight easily because of the size difference and how she fights using her weight. But Killa surprised me. She actually did pretty good. So it is given that we might see the improvement that I wanted to see from Killa. Like I said, how we saw improvement from Summer from Midwest to Africa. I think we're going to see that improvement from Killa from Africa to USA, and I'm glad to see it. So they went like 4 rounds. First round, I'm going to give to Tink, but Killa was there too. You know, she was in there. Round 2 was a tie. Got broken up really quick. And Tinkerbella was basically saying in her confessional, she don't really know what the problem is. She never heard Killa's song. She feel like Killa is a pretty girl, and she's a pretty girl, and there's no reason for them to have beef. But Killa talked about her so much that now it's like they had to fight. So now they getting ready for round 3, and Killa gonna tell Tinkerbella, you really ugly as fuck. Round 3, Killa got. And Tink is doing all her dramatics, her screaming and stuff. You know, the stuff I can't take. Then DJ Scott and Krishan walk in, and they are very much confused. And Krishan talking about she was heartbroken because it was no food, and she don't understand why everybody got pretty just to get themselves messed up fighting. I will say, surprisingly, that in this whole scene, Krishan was definitely trying to be like a voice of reason and trying to tell everybody not to fight, like Killa, Ahna, Tasiki, you know, like different people. She was definitely trying to tell people not to fight, which was shocking to me. Then Tink and Killa get ready to go for a 4th round, and Tavy was like, okay, so y'all can't have no dialogue, like y'all just keep fighting over and over again. Y'all really don't know each other. Like, where's this going? Tinkerbella like, no dialogue. But in her confessional, she basically saying it's really no beef. So why don't you have dialogue so that y'all could just end this? But eventually they do make up, because I saw on social media, you know, they both reacted to episode 1 and said they're cool now. Round 4 was kind of close, but towards the end, Killa ended up on her knees. She got dropped to her knees or dragged to her knees because Tink kind of had her by the shirt. So I'm going to give Tink that last round. Then we see Lex, Summer, and Dolly walking in. Now, Lex was in the front at first, but right before they walked in, she kind of let Summer go in front of her, which I thought was weird. Now, Mariah's still been wanting Summer since Summer snuck her at the auditions, and Summer got casted for the next season and Mariah didn't. So when Summer got out the car, she was announcing herself, being loud, talking about Baddies, Baddies USA, you know. So Mariah knew she was there. Now, like I said, I don't know why Lex switched with Summer and had Summer go in front. But as soon as Summer walked through the door, Mariah ran up on her and had Summer swimming. So Summer was like, okay, you got your sneak, because it was a sneak for a sneak, but she was like, now I want a round. Like, I want a fair round. Krishan asked Mariah why her and Summer was fighting. Mariah gonna tell Krishan, oh, because she snuck me at auditions and she talked about your sister. Well, Krishan probably don't really care about what Summer said about Tasiki because, like Summer said, she's just repeating what Krishan said about Tasiki. So how could Krishan be mad about that? And Mariah was telling Summer, oh, you're here because of me. You're my daughter. I gave you a job. And Summer was like, you gave me a job. I'm your daughter. Bitch, I did 2 seasons without you. If I was your daughter, they would have casted you with me, or at least the season after. If they didn't cast Mariah for Midwest, they would have definitely casted her for Africa if they felt like Summer needed a storyline or needed to rely on the situation that she had with Mariah early on. So then Tasiki, Biggie, and Ahna walk in, and Mariah is basically explaining to Tasiki that she beat Summer up. And she was like, yeah, I handled that for you. I handled that for you. Tasiki was looking like, girl, what? Like, I never asked you to do that, and I don't give a fuck. I don't know why Mariah always try to make it seem like she be fighting for Tasiki, or like, you know what I mean? Like, girl, you have your own issue with Summer. So why are you even attaching yourself to that? And Summer basically said in her confessional that Mariah had told her she was going to get a ticket for something she did at the auditions, and then she didn't give her the ticket. So that's why she said she snuck Mariah. And that does make sense because Summer has said before, like, she never got a ticket when she went to the auditions. Zeus just called her months later and was like, yeah, we want to cash you. So that makes sense. You know, Mariah told her she was going to get the ticket. She never got the ticket. She ended up fighting Mariah and getting thrown out. But then Zeus decided to call her back anyway. Then out of nowhere, we got Gretch trying to run up on Ahna. Everybody's confused. I'm confused. You know, Gretch is talking about Ahna spoke about her on the internet. At the end of the day, somebody gonna have to show me exactly what was said. I did see something where Ahna said, I'm not Gretch, in reference to Gretch saying the N-word. So, you know, I guess Ahna was basically saying, I'm not white like her. But besides that, I didn't really see anything else. So if that's what Gretchen is mad about, I mean, I guess. But who knows? Because Ahna do be talking shit on the internet, so it may be more that I'm just not aware of because I don't keep up with Gretch. From there, we see Rolly walk in. Gretch is already saying the N-word. You know, as soon as she get mad, she starts saying the N-word. So, yeah, I'm already done with her from episode 1. You know, I was done with her before the season even began. So then when Ahna and Gretch start trying to get to each other, Krishan is over here looking like she's crying. Like, just being dramatic, doing the most. But yeah, Gretch cannot fight, and Ahna got that. Then Gretch tried to run up on Ahna again, and she kind of ended up tugging at Tasiki's hair a little bit. So Tasiki started going off, and she was like, bitch, you just pulled my hair. Now, do I feel like Tasiki did a little bit too much? Yes. I think she already was ready to get on that with Gretch, because we know she's Ahna's bodyguard, and that's one thing I hate about Tasiki. Y'all know I love her, but I hate her being Ahna's bodyguard. Because I honestly feel like if anybody else was having a fight around her and her hair mistakenly got pulled, I don't think she would have went off like she went off on Gretch. So Krishan was telling Tasiki not to fight Gretch, you know, not to walk up on Gretch. And Gretch was like, I didn't mean to grab your hair. And that was that. Gretch runs up on Ahna again. Ahna was uppercutting the shit out of her this round. I think this is when she gave Gretch the knots, which you see right here. Then we saw Tinkerbella standing up on the side, and she was trying to put a headband on her wig. She was like, yeah, she ripped my wig, so now I gotta fix it. Killa stood up and was like, F your wig. So then Tinkerbella takes one of her bangles and throws it at Killa's face. As you can see, it definitely bounced off her face. So this beef is definitely not over yet. Then Ahna runs up, jumps over the table, and jumps on Gretchen's head. Funniest shit I've ever seen. Gretch was gagged. So then Ahna started saying Gretch just bit her finger. I didn't see that, so I don't know if it's true or not. You know, Ahna do be lying sometimes, but Gretch is also known for biting. She literally bit Jayla at the last reunion she was on. So I'm not sure what's true or not, but Gretch said she didn't bite Ahna's finger. But Gretch, please, at the end of the day, you got knotted up, and I'm here for it. Then we see Biggie yelling at Smiley, because Smiley had kind of walked off set, I guess. And Biggie was like, don't walk off set, get back here. So I guess Biggie was like, yeah, Smiley, you know I want to fight you. So Biggie runs up on Smiley, and the episode cuts off there. Okay, y'all, for Baddies USA episode 1, my least valuable baddies are Natalie, Kat, Low London, Camilla, Gretch, and Tinkerbella. My most valuable baddies are Persuasion, Bree, Tanisha, Mariah Lynn, Ahna, Scotty, Killa, and Suki Hana. Okay, y'all, so that's my Baddies USA episode 1 review/recap. If you're watching me on TikTok, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. If you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you follow me on TikTok, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.